Greetings, family and friend. This is Charles Thomas coming at you again. Peace, shalom, assalamu alaikum. And it's cold outside today. But I'm coming at you again to poke the bear and for more enlightenment and understanding of where we are as a people and how we got to the place that we are in. And the last video I did, I called it Purgatory. Purgatory is a condition that the Catholic Church created to describe a place of nowhere or nothingness. And Constantine, the Conqueror, at the Council of Nicaea, came up with a solution to conquer the world. His solution was, stay with me, to create a religion that would seize the mind of melanin people. And that he would take this concept and conquer the whole world with the concept of religion and Christianity. To get melanin people away from the law of Ma'at and under the influence of religion. And going back to scripture, if you remember that Satan told the Creator that he was going to deceive his created people. So when he comes back, the original Creator comes back to claim or redeem his created man, that created man would not know him because he was going to deceive the created man. Now, it's written in the Bible, Zechariah 5, that there was a flying scroll that the prophet Zechariah saw. And the angels asked him, what did he see? He told him he seen a flying scroll. And he told him in that story that this flying scroll was going to be placed in Babylon. Babylon at the time was Rome. And it still is. And he would unleash this evil force or doctrine. In Babylon, he would build an altar in Babylon to release this evil doctrine that was symbolic for the lady that was in the lead box that the angels were flying to place on the altar in Babylon to release it. This was pertaining to what Constantine and the Council of Nicaea was all about, was releasing the New Testament. But if you understand the first 5 books in the Bible that Moses wrote the first 5 books explaining explicitly how important it was to live according to the covenant of righteousness. And Moses spoke with God, and God revealed to Moses his creation, and he showed him his backside. Now, Moses had to go up on a mountain. And if you ever been up on a mountain, the only thing that's left for you to visualize is the stars and the planets and the unity of creation. And you ain't going to see no religion out there. You're going to see his creation and nature at work, moving according to its laws that it was given to in creation. Everything that he created has a purpose and a time. And it's upsetting to me to know that we put base everything based on the New Testament. We don't even look at the Old Testament. If you go to church today, they don't touch the Old Testament. They touch what Constantine used to conquer the whole world. Christianity, Christ's entity. And every Sunday, when we go to church, these African American preachers are teaching melanin people about a crucifixion that the Catholic Church say that they did to a righteous man. He hadn't committed any sins, and they didn't prove that he did commit a sin, but he was labeled a troublemaker. He was going against Rome ideology and the tradition that the Jewish people at that time were gravitating to. He was trying to warn them the consequences of believing more in tradition and religion than the facts that Moses had given them. So he was separating them from Moses' teaching about the law. And the melanin people, when they built the pyramids, they were under the laws of the 42 negative confessions of Ma'at. And you can Google that and see what the 42 negative confessions are. That's where the Christian Church come up with the 10 commandments, with the commandments. They got them out of Ma'at, the laws of Ma'at. They only use 10, but there's more than 10. But we in slavery, they erased our memory. They took our name. They took our identity. And we have become a zero in the makeup of creation. You were hung if they caught you trying to read or trying to expand your mind. And this went on for 300 years. As a people, this is what Constantine had done to us. And he took this around the world to worship them as a god and believing everything that they gave us. But what they gave us created a zero in us. It reduced us to nothing. We totally depend upon Christianity for sustaining our life. We believe we have more fear of not worshiping a man than we do of worshiping God. Because we fear man that can kill the body, but your Creator can take your soul. And he conditioned us to love everybody when everybody don't love you. He don't love everybody. He hates us. And you can tell and see that by the way he has reduced you as a people. It's nothing but hate. And you the ones that he crucified. But because of religion, doctrine that Zechariah told you about, you can't see it, that you are the crucified victim. And every Sunday, when you go to church, you are the black preacher is reinforcing the concept of crucifixion that you didn't commit, but you are a victim to. And you can't see that you are the crucified. And they don't want you to know that you are crucified. But the next generation of melanin people, we're getting wiser and wiser. Look at your grandchildren and how intelligent they are and how quick they pick up on life. And then you turn around and dumb them down to worship the image of another man. And you're taking the eyesight or the insight and the spirituality from them by teaching them this false religion. Religion is the tool that Satan created to keep you in purgatory. And purgatory is something that you will not be able to remove yourself, because only God can make you exempt from the influence of Christianity. But you got to want it with your whole heart. You got to put your whole heart into getting out of Christianity. The only thing that you can remember in history is that when they caught you as a slave, before you knew about Christianity, and they conformed you to worshiping their image, that's the only thing that you have to overcome and start believing in yourself. Is Christianity. We have to fight and resist Christianity. Christianity is of the devil. And it's hard for you to understand it because your parents were Christians. And if you look at how they treated your parents, they did not give your parents a break. They worked your parents from sun up to sundown. And they were abusive to your parents. And the slave master were Christians. And everybody in the Ku Klux Klan, they were Christians. How easily and we forget these things. But yet and still, you continue to perpetuate that fear and reinforce it when you go to church every Sunday. You're worshiping white supremacy, whether you admit it or not. And then you want resolution or reparations. And if you give you reparations with the mindset that you got, or wanting to be a Christian, you're going to give it right back to him. But if God gives you reparations, you're not going to give them. That's what the story of the rich man and Lazarus. That story's about you. You died. And then the rich man, when he dies, there's going to be a schism between the two. Lazarus was in heaven, in the bosom of Abraham. And the rich man that had everything tried to convince God that if he let him come back, or if he let somebody tell his 5 brothers what hell is like, they would change. But he said, no, I ain't going to do that. They got to do it on their own. You had the chance to get right, but you didn't get right. And I'm not going to let Lazarus cool you off. You got to pay for your sins. And I'm telling you, as a concerned African American, melanin man, if you can't understand that story, and I can understand because the preachers are not teaching it right, because the black preacher loves the white man. And the black church is not going to give the black community anything back. They never have given any money back to the black community. They take, but they don't give back because they got a crucified mind. When they go to these seminaries, they tell them to teach you and maintain this white image of God. But God said, don't worship any images. He told Moses to tell you that. Don't worship any images of anything that's created. I'm a jealous God, and I'll punish you. You will stay in misery until you respect righteousness and what I've given Moses to give to you. And if you go contrary to the right or to the left of what I've given Moses, you deserve everything that you're getting. So if you keep going to church, believing that you are part of that crucifixion murder, then you're going to keep suffering because you keep perpetuating that lie. You didn't crucify nobody. You are the crucified. And you can't love everybody. You shouldn't try to love everybody. You shouldn't try to love those that despitefully use you. And you ain't got to hate them, but you can't forget what you've been through by trying to be what Christians want you to be. You got to stand up and learn how to stand up for yourself on righteousness, on your own 2 feet, and provide for yourself through what you produce. And your Creator said, you got to create your own storehouse so that I can bless your storehouse. Black Christians don't want a storehouse. They want to use what the slave master is providing. Not what God can provide for you, but what the white slave master can provide for you. That's the black preacher's storehouse. They don't want the headache of having their own. Just like in my family, my wife keeps the budget and she does a good job. And I think we are blessed because of her efforts and our efforts working together. I've traveled the world. I've seen God's creation. There's black melanin people that haven't been out of Michigan. There's black people that have worked all their life and don't have a penny to show for it. Having faith is very important in God's perspective. And your dependency on righteousness is more important. Let that hateful religion of Christianity go. Just based on what you've been through as a people and what you remember under Christianity. It's going down. White people are getting more angry, more frustrated, more hateful. You got to separate yourself. When you see a truck coming, you don't stand out there. You get out of the way of the truck. When you see judgment coming, when you see confusion, when you see the seasons change, everything is out of kilter. Even us. We have to get back under the path of righteousness. And don't be influenced or fear of man. Because there is another life. And I know that you want to be a part of that other life. because of the blessings that is promised to you with the guidance of righteousness. Religion has the whole world divided. So don't seek religion. Look within yourself. That's where your happiness is. If you're angry at somebody else, don't throw stones. Because we all have sinned, thanks to Christianity. The only thing that'll get you straight is go within yourself. God gave us everything that we need as a people. It's already within us. We just have to wake it up and not be afraid and stop judging other people, because we've been through a mess. And we have to understand ourselves and our condition of crucifixion and what purgatory means. Purgatory is where the rapture is going to happen. We got to come out of that cesspool of Christianity and come out of that graveyard and stand up and be responsible to our family and to ourselves and to our Creator. Christianity has us in a graveyard and dead to ourselves and to our needs as a people. And I'm poking the bear, but I hope I'm getting to you, to somebody out there, because this next generation has to wake up and derail this program that Constantine has put out there at the Council of Nicaea. And that goes back to the Crusade time. But that's how long Christianity has been conquering the world and the minds of the righteous. Because we continually, every Sunday, we reiterate the guilt of another man's sin. We're the one that's killing righteousness and keeping righteousness nailed on the cross of their religion. And those that have their eyes open, they have gotten off of that cross and moved on to a better way of life and under righteousness. And righteousness will continue to elevate you and show you the correct path to stay on and not to deviate from. And there's no hate. Like I said earlier in my first tapes, that it is in Deuteronomy 28, it explains the whole scenario. If you stay under the law of righteousness, you'll be blessed going and coming. But then go back and read what happens when you break that covenant, or if you let somebody else talk you out of that covenant. That's when your problem starts. And that's how we got into the position that we are in as a people. We deviated from righteousness. Satan sold us into doing wrong and believing more in religion than in the covenant. And I'm just trying to, because it makes me angry every Sunday. I feel that anger boiling inside of me, because I got family members, that feel obligated, and they believe that the New Testament is the Word of God, when it's only the word of Constantine. And I looked at a book about the story of Enoch, and they got Enoch, a white image of Enoch. And Enoch said that I'm black, and he was an Ethiopian. But they got a white image of Enoch as a white man. And it's not a color thing. Your melanin is a chemical. And your pineal gland looks like the eye of Horus. And the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, he was the last hue of color to receive a prophet. Everybody beyond the Arab community is mankind. You human. But mankind don't give a diddly about you. They'll crucify you. They'll hang you. They'll take your identity. They'll rape your daughter. They'll lie to you. They'll steal from you. That's mankind. You are man. You are the original man. And they are mankind. But you are human. You are a hue of a color. And they're non-hue. Just like the wolf is the original dog. The rest of the dogs are hybrids from the wolf. You better check yourself. Because something's coming and you ain't going to be happy when it get here. You'll be looking death right in the eye. And they give us the Bible and they take the land. They take control of everything. And believe me, America's a good country. It has high standards. But it also, they only care and look out for themselves. They have believed more in the lie. They have more to be worried about because of what they done. They got to give an atonement for what they've done to the world, God's creation. They're not gods, but they think they are because of the white image that they sold you. They had to portray themselves as people of that bloodline, that image of that bloodline. And that ain't going to take them far. Because the truth is going to expose them. Just like you're going to be exposed for following a corrupt people. And you can't blame them. On Judgment Day, when you stand before your Creator and they're asking you questions about your life, you better have the right answers of who you worship and who you believe in. You're going to have a bad day if you get it wrong. But I'm out of here. And I hope you receive what I've given you. And I pray that our lives as a people will be elevated. And they use the book to put you to sleep. So you have to get the understanding of the book to wake you up. Because you in the book from Genesis to Revelation. But you just haven't found yourself in the book yet. Once you see yourself in the book and in the parables, like Jesus was a sign. Jesus was about a people that were born fatherless. And that's where they got us at. We were created by the white supremacy through fear and injustice that they used to reduce us to nothing. Now you have to find a path back to redemption and recover your soul and learn how to live life in the right and rebuke all the evil and the fear that has been forced upon you ever since our ancestors broke the covenant of righteousness. It's up to you. You know, you can pray for help from your ancestors and those that did make the cross into paradise. They'll reach you somehow, but you have to believe in righteousness in order to get out of the deformation of Christianity. Peace and love, and nothing but the truth. Inshallah.